And some of the PC game, like Star Wars Battlefront kind of style, very mature already. One game, I cannot say the name yet because we haven't public, but we invested in them. Is that the game is actually live on Steam.
Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our interview with DeFiance Capital founder Arthur Cheong. If you haven't watched the first part yet, don't close this tab, go and watch that. The link is down below, and then come back to this.
Cryptocurrency exchange.
Non-fungible. We only take Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency.
Because there's a lot of like blockchains, layer ones, right? What do you think is the next, I guess, catalyst that will bring in the next wave of like TVL to the whole ecosystem? Because it seems like, again, TVL across the board is still, flowing from blockchain to blockchain and then moving from here and there, right? We're still almost stable, I guess. Where do you see the next big catalyst to bring in the next, 100 billion TVL or whatnot?
Yeah, I'm not very big believer of like one specific catalyst kick it off, but obviously like if we have a massive bull market like what happened in 2021, that will be the catalyst, because bull market lead to asset price appreciation and that lead to more people coming in. But I think that even without that, you're gonna see like a gradual growth in the user that start to use all this layer 1, the DeFi and NFT, and that naturally will lead to increase in user activity and TVL. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's just like a organic growth story. Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about bull market, right? Because it's a bit hard to be bullish this year or this quarter. What are your take on that right now? Where are you? Are you like, bullish, bearish right now, given the macro situation right now?
I think looking at the data is indeed hard to be bullish. I mean, always a fundamental guy. So back to the fundamental is you have a change in a monetary condition, and this naturally affect the price and the discount rate they use to discount risk asset. So that's why you see so many growth stock have corrected so much from November peak, right? Because it's just like the discount rate being used for risk asset is different right now. Yeah. Like for the more finance people, like, to get the present value of the financial asset, you need to discount it, right? So the higher the nominal interest rate, usually the higher the discount rate is, because there's a risk-free rate. So in that sense, and also we are coming in from an era where valuation is quite stretched, both in the traditional financial market, the stock market, and also in the crypto space, right? Because you see quite a lot of the crypto haven't really achieved that much adoption, but already being worth like 50 billion valuation, like 100 billion in some cases. For example, like ICP when they are launching that valuation, or even Foundcoin when they launch, like they are like 100 plus billion valuation. Right now they obviously corrected 70-80% already. Yeah. So like that valuation is obviously not sustainable with the level of adoption and usage they are getting. And also you have the macro backdrop. I don't need to mention it, but you have this war happening, and we do not know how big it will escalate as well. And I think right now it's also hard for inflation to come down immediately, even if the central bank decided to increase the interest rate, because some of it are really supply chain driven. I don't think it can be resolved immediately as well. I think that you get in a conundrum where central bank are forced to raise interest rate, but the inflation will not come down immediately because the interest rate being raised, because there's some supply chain bottleneck. In that sense, I think it will get tough. But that said, as a retail, you should focus more on bottom up rather than top down. Because if you're willing to do active research, whatever, you always can see something that, like a smaller valuation, they're less affected by macro, because it's something that's trading 100 million valuation and it's still doing growth, right? You will do well, right? For example, Axie Infinity of last year, June, July, it was actually bear market, right? Not bear market, I mean, there was correction. Bitcoin dropped a lot, entire market dropped a lot from the May peak. Yeah. And actually, Axie was the first crypto to lead the rally. Because there was user growth and there was like more and more player playing it. I mean, yes, there's some like a token economic driven positive flywheel driving it, but you see the user and the revenue start growing, right? It have nothing to do with what the macro market is doing, and that lead to the Axie Infinity token doing very, very well for the subsequent 2-3 months. So I think that is something that still can happen this year despite the macro fundamentals. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So do you think the question then is, who's the next Axie Infinity right now?
I don't have a clear answer to that, because one segment that Defiance is very bullish on is on the crypto gaming space. Unfortunately, right now most of the game life right now is not like really up to like a AAA quality or something that's very engaging and addicting on its own. We are investing, and we invested in a lot of these. A lot of them are gonna come out like end of Q2 or Q3. So we are fairly confident some of them will be a pretty successful game to play on itself. And with the integration with the crypto element, I think that will like lead them to grow even faster. Our bet is obviously on this kind of like Web3 games doing very well. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you mentioned Q2, Q3 this year,
yes.
So you're mentioning like these are games that are closer to like those AAA kind of titles or qualities.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, because the AAA definition is not very clear, right? Yeah. I would say like there will be some of the mobile game there will be quite close to like a Genshin Impact level. Probably not exactly, probably I would say 80% Genshin Impact level that will be launched Q2, Q3 this year. And some of the PC game like Star Wars Battlefront kind of style, very mature already. One game I cannot say the name yet because we haven't public, but we invested in them. Is that the game is actually live on Steam. They have been publishing weekly developer update, very communicating with their fans very diligently. The game is on like alpha or beta. You can actually download to play the game. They've been building a game for 2 years, and since I think late last year they discover the potential of integrating crypto and Web3 into game, and they are really all in committed to integrating that. So I think it's harder to build a game than integrating crypto. So I think there's a lot of potential for this to happen. Because the game is like I would say 90% done because you can already download the beta to play. Really, It's just that they need to integrate a crypto component.
Hopefully some of our viewers can CSI figure out what game you're talking about. Let everyone know.
Okay. So recently, I think it's a very good opportunity for us to talk about what I want to talk about next, which is NFT, right? So recently, you've been quite public about a collection that you have been collecting. So Azuki. Tell us a little bit of thoughts on that, because I think previously you were not really known for buying NFT. What changed?
I think what changed is first of all, there isn't that many NFT that on a like a personal level, aesthetically level, like I resonate with a lot. And I mean, obviously, like people have made a lot of money from like investing in NFT, right? But I don't think any of the early NFT collector like or buyer really think that you went do that well, right? I mean, when you mint the Bored Ape at 0.08 ETH, you never think you can go to 100 ETH, right? I never see NFT as like a pure investment. You can see it as like more like a passion investment. Like it's a mix. I don't think you should see it as a pure investment. You can do that, but I try not to do that. Like to me, it's a bit like buying watches. Like you have to like the watch you buy. If you buy the watch just because you think it's going up, I guess it's fine, but it's kind of, you might as well just do stocks, right? Then you'd have less emotional attachment. So to me, it's a bit like that. Like it's a bit like a passion investment. I know CryptoPunk is like the cultural part of it, but I don't resonate with Pixel that much. Bored Ape, I also don't resonate with it that much until I see Azuki, because I always like an anime and a gaming fan, right? And I also played Overwatch before. So like the guy behind the Azuki art and character design is the former Overwatch art director. So that kind of art style just resonated with me a lot, really. And it just have a very good blend of the East anime style. You see the lines, right? It's like a dark, like a bolder line kind of thing, like a drawing style. So it's a good blend of Eastern and Western anime art style. And with a lot of the like pop culture, you look at their fashions, right? All very fashionable clothing, skateboard, boombox, and also some more anime-ish, like a lightning eye, fire hair, and some weapons, right? So I think it's a very good blend. It's just finally something I resonate with a lot. So that's why I decided to just spend a decent amount on it. So I think it resonated with me. So I think that's like a eureka moment for me. Like it's probably like how like Bored Ape is a eureka moment for someone as well. And actually I think even earlier than that, I also have a few Clone X. I think Clone X is also a eureka moment for some people. I would say Clone X is acquired taste. Unless you're like a big fan of Takashi Murakami since the beginning, then you'll like it a lot.
When you bought into Azuki, were most of the decision based on the visuals of it, or do you look at the utilities of it?
Most of it definitely based on the visual and the quality of the entire team and the project as well. Like when I go to the website, I was already very impressed already. Like you can look at the website, right? There's a big difference between a good website and a normal website. Like they put a lot of thoughts into the website, how is it designed. There's even like a music player, there's like all the like very cool and
the user experience.
Music. And they also have their own gallery. Like I can tell actually a lot of NFT projects don't even have their own gallery. They rely on OpenSea as their gallery. And actually OpenSea is, I would say, fast enough, but it's actually sometimes a bit laggy. I'm sure all of you have used. You go Azuki gallery, like it's faster than OpenSea. And I like it because I can just search whatever like the NFT I want. And I look at the roadmap and the vision, right? It's just something I align with a lot. So after I see that, I look at the team execution, and they're also pioneering the ERC 721A standard as well. So it just gives me a lot more confidence to put my money into this. Because it's just like, some leading artists, right? You look at the whole package, not just on the music he produced, like how he is, like how committed he is to his fan base, whatever. So the whole things make me just more convinced on Azuki.
Okay, so all of these blue chip NFT projects, right? Do you think they can sustain their high floor price right now?
Good questions. I would say in terms of the spectrum, I'm sitting on a more moderately bullish spectrum. Like there are some who are a lot more bullish than me. There are some who are a lot more bearish than me. I think that yes, but probably there is a limit, and also depend on what kind of NFT. So I think art NFT will naturally have a higher floor. And probably higher ceiling as well, because it's like Van Gogh art and whatever, right?
Like
it can like
art,
sell for like 50 million a piece, right? If someone does become so appreciated like Fidenza, it's already very expensive. Like
Fair.
the top Fidenza is like crazy, right? And I don't think this will really come down because the ceiling are decided by the whales. As long as the whale don't capitulate,
Yeah.
it will not come down, and whales seldom capitulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for some of the more like community membership based kind of NFT, I do think there is a bit of like a limit on how high the floor can go. For example, I'm not like talking bad about them, but let's say like a Bored Ape, right? You can notice the gap between floor and ceiling is way smaller compared to like CryptoPunk. Like the cheapest CryptoPunk and the most expensive CryptoPunk, the gap is huge, right? But it's not as much compared to Bored Ape because most people see Bored Ape as like a club membership. So you do not need to buy the most rare Bored Ape. You just need to buy the floor one, then you're part of the club already. I mean, the name of the project is literally Bored Ape Yacht Club, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, if the floor get too crazy, people will say, do I really want to spend that much to be part of the club?
Okay.
There's probably a limit you can spend. Like you just look at existing real world luxury item, right? The cheapest Richard Mille was like 200-300k.
Yeah.
Even for like a Hermes bag, like it's probably like 50-60k. A lot of the luxury kind of top up around like a mid 6-figure level.
Yeah.
For the entry level luxury, right? So obviously there's a high end one, but most people don't really need to go for that high end for the social flexing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, yes, there is a limit of how much it can go. But if it went beyond just like a social, like a luxury good, there's a lot more utility, then I think the floor is obviously can be way higher. Like I really like what CloneX is doing with how they return the value to their community. I think it's less dilutive because they have 3 airdrop to the CloneX holders so far, the Pod, Spaceport, and Monolith.
Yeah.
It's already worth I think 7 ETH, right?
Yeah.
Those so you already return half of your value of the current floor price, and if you mint it from the beginning, you already get more than what you minted already. It's all like complementary to CloneX as well. And also right now they have the whitelist for the Murakami flower if you get the Murakami trade. So much value return to the token holder. In that sense, if people think that the team can consistently execute on returning value to the NFT holder, then I think the floor can be obviously way higher. Yeah, it depends on how much utility the team can return to the holder. Yeah.
Okay. But NFT collection nowadays seems to be centered around like the hype, how well the project market or get whoever come to show it, right? What are your takes on that? Because a lot of project might go up already, and after that just chunk all the way down already, right? So
Depends on metas also, and like what's trending at that moment also.
yeah. So do you agree that NFT is just another form of like speculative tool?
I think it can be a speculative tool.
Yeah.
But it's just like a stock market, right? There's a speculative stock, then there's also a more stable blue chip stock that will not go up as much, but it will not come down as much as well. So I think NFT is the same. You have a full spectrum. Although I think it's also a bit too early to say something is a blue chip because even Bored is not even 1 year old yet, right? So
Yeah.
but at least right now it is the most valuable NFT by the floor price. So I think there are some NFTs like it's almost like a meta right now. Like if people go and like label for the whitelist mint, then usually pre-review you can like sell it for like a 2-3x of your mint price, and then after review it will drop because then you lose the optional value already, right? These are the more speculative part lor. It will always exist, I would say.
Okay. So what are your investment horizon for your Azuki? Are you flipping it? Are you holding it until what happens?
Or never selling.
For me it's never an investment anyway, because if you want to really invest in the NFT, usually you go for pure floor strategy for most people because floor is the most liquid, and also it's easier to price. Rare, right, is a lot harder to price because it's like
very subjective.
Beauty is the eye of beholder, right? Yes, you can see the rarity or this thing, but people might not care about the rarity as much, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is, my Azuki collection has so much rare, right? So it's never a pure investment from the first place. So to me, I wouldn't call it a pure investment. It's obviously something I'm happy to hold on for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, but if it really reach the price that I think is very, very attractive, I might obviously open to selling some of them.
Yeah.
So I would probably categorize it more like a medium term thing.
Yeah.
And some of it can be long term. It's a bit like watch law.
Yeah.
Yeah, like If
Okay.
you go to a crazy price, you will sell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, a very nice aquanaut on your
Hey.
but it's okay. But yeah, watch market has been going very crazy for the last few months.
Yeah. You mentioned Clonex just now. What other collections do you have right now?
Just Konex and Azuki mostly.
Okay. Any thoughts on like other forms of NFT or not? Music NFT, fashion NFT, or just out of your scope right now that you're just not looking at?
Yeah, I definitely not an expert in any of the other NFT. Like art NFT, I also don't have much exposure because I don't think I'm an art appreciator person. Yeah.
Okay.
Music NFT, I think still very early. There's
Yeah.
obviously still a lot of debate on like because why it has not taken off as much as compared to other NFT. My view is just that it just need more time. I'm actually a pretty big believer in music NFT. If you want to see why the whole premises and why it makes sense, just go and check out a guy called RAC. He's a Grammy award-winning producer. He's obviously one of the earliest adopter of music NFT as well. He has one very good Twitter thread saying that why NFT makes sense for like a musicians and for the music industry as a whole. Because right now the music studio hold too much leverage on the individual
labels,
artists, the labels, right? Yeah. So the NFT have a potential of changing this dynamic and landscape. I think just want to give some small successful example. One of the more famous, I would say, Southeast Asia artists like Namev, he actually dropped like a music NFT I think last year, and he raised like $1 million plus
Yes.
in a less than like a few hours. And actually he was quite surprised like how much he managed to raise from his music NFT. And I think it's actually showed the potential and promise of music NFT. And I think it's a pity he did not keep expanding on it because I think it can actually lead to more. And the fact is when you look at the music industry right now, especially in the, let's say, Mentorpop, right? It has been a very tough 10 years because album sales is very low.
Yeah.
And Spotify earning usually cannot sustain a musician, and let's say a Mentorpop musician. So the only way they can make money is to go on concert. But COVID also killed the concert business model.
Yeah.
So their revenue actually come down a lot on concert. They can only rely on brand endorsement, the ads, all this thing. But obviously it's a bit peripheral, right? It's not the core thing they want to do.
Yeah.
So I think NFT actually have a very direct way for the musicians to engage with their core fan base directly. And you can have a few whale fan that really appreciate your music a lot and they can already feed you really. It's a bit like a Patreon kind of model where you don't need all of your subscribers to pay, but as long as like 5-10% of them willing to support you, you can already make a living out of it. So I think that is kind of like a model that we are moving on. I think it's still underappreciated. Yep.
Okay. You mentioned about Mentorpop. Are you a Mentorpop guy?
Like
I mean,
Jacky.
yeah, of course. I grew up listening Jae Chia.
Hey, so
You
speaking of which, do you buy his collection? The Fanta Bear.
No.
No.
But Fanta Bear, I think it has some promise initially.
Yeah.
But I think after they release a roadmap, I mean, just for my personal view, I think it's a bit underwhelming.
What would be a good roadmap for you?
I think the involvement of Jae Chia is actually quite minimal.
Yes. Yeah.
People were expecting more involvement from Jae Chia. It's just like a collab between his fashion brand, Fantasy,
Yeah.
and the EZAC, right? At that price, people were expecting more. La. So right now it corrected to like, I think 1 ETH, 1 plus
Less
ETH.
than that.
Less than
Oh
1
my
ETH
gosh.
already? And I personally think that the Fanta Bear design is
Not
also
as
just
great lah.
okay. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
pretty run of the mill. Like, you compare it to Azuki have a lot more like different elements into it. Yeah. The more thoughts put into the NFT design itself.
Nuance
Yeah.
and certification,
Yeah. Then it's just all bears, different colors,
Yeah.
all different clothing.
Okay.
I think something that quite a lot of viewers would probably be looking forward to would be like, are there any alphas that you might have for them?
Yeah. I think the biggest alpha is just like, if you are interested in this space, just get involved in a more active manner.
Okay.
You know, there's opportunity from all sorts of places and some place that we might not even foresee, right? It's like, you can say I completely missed out on the NFT trend at the beginning because I was just so busy managing the fund, investing, right? And this is something that as a guy managing a fund full time, I don't really have the time to look at individual NFTs. So I miss out on the Bored Ape meme. I also miss out on the CryptoPunk wave also.
Yeah.
But this is actually as an individual, you have more edge because you have time. It's probably like something that interests you more, and then you just witness and participate in the rise of NFT trend since the beginning. So this is the alpha. Just get involved. Look at which area that excites you more. Yeah, I think that is really one of the biggest alpha. And right now, this space is still growing. A lot of the stars have raised a lot of venture funding, so they're all expanding, hiring people. So let's say you're like a software engineer, this is like probably one of the best place for you to join because the salary is like quite decent. Some of them, like, although they're startup, but they harmonize the pay. They pay the same salary for the US engineer and for their Singapore-based engineers. So like, you're actually Singapore-based, you're getting US software engineer pay.
Yeah.
This is one alpha league if you're a software engineer. Even if you're not a software engineer, right? There's also, they need a lot of like a marketing kind of role or like a business development, community building. So then there's a lot of like a way you can contribute as well. Like even like joining the space full time, or even just part-time participate in some DAO, you can probably like spend like 10 hours of a week on some DAO participation. And then we have seen a lot of DAO, that end up like elevating some of their community member to their core protocol kind of people. Like, it's kind of like a full-time worker kind of situation. So I think that is the alpha league. Yeah. Even you join just like a crypto startup with no token, they can also done very well. Like we have seen some crypto startup with no token, the equity like appreciated more than 10-20 times in the last 1 year.
Okay. You spoke about judging certain hackathons, and you also spoke about opportunities here. Are there any specific areas that like people should be looking at that maybe is like kind of ignored at the moment?
I think the fact is software engineer is always in demand in this space.
Okay.
If you're a software engineer, you definitely pay attention to this space. I think this is the most in demand right now, and especially those that with experience in like both in the Web 2 development and also have sufficient experience in the Web 3 development. So they do not need to teach you about the Web 3 nuances. So that would be like a perfect fit. You can participate in some hackathons, or even just apply to join some teams. I mean, you can check our DeFiance Capital job board. There's so much position in Singapore and all around the world as well. Yeah. And I think like 2 weeks ago, Solana has a hacker house here as well. So we were a sponsor of the hacker house. So a lot of opportunity here, and obviously just participate in being a user of this protocol helps a lot as well. Yeah, like we give you a better understanding of what these things are doing. Yeah.
Okay. We have a lot of like community members who are actually quite young, like that in poly or even like first year in uni. So if you're still wondering what you want to do, software engineer, lots of money to be made.
Yeah, hard skill.
Is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up this episode?
I would say that crypto and Web3 is a very exciting space, and is probably the best space for an ambitious individual to get involved in, because this space do offer sufficiently high upside for ambitious individual to get rewarded for the hard work they put in. And it's also an industry that doesn't discriminate people based on their profile and background as much. I'm sure there's some sort of like profiling still exists, but compared to a lot of other industry, this is really the least discriminating.
Your skills will speak for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Like because you can see some anon, right? People don't even know who are their identity, right? Yet they can still attain a very high level of success. Like one of the top crypto VC fund Paradigm just hire a high school student as their research engineer. So people don't really care about the degree and the pedigree as much, and also which nationality you come from, because people are okay to hire a remote developer or even like community manager or marketing guy nowadays anyway. So it's definitely a very rewarding space for ambitious and capable individual to join.
Oh, fantastic. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. Well, really, it's 2 episodes of the Chain Debrief podcast. And thank you so much, Arthur, for joining us. If you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to this channel. Also join our communities. We've got all the links down below. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.